guest designer for DeBellosDesigns.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card. There'll be a little bit of variations, but pretty close to the same. We have kind of a Northern Lights background going on with the reindeer and some trees. Supplies used are reindeer large, Lavinia 481, fir tree, it's LAV 022, the fairy fir tree 2 small, LAV 492S. For our card base, which is the card that opens, is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square. The blue mat is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And the card that we'll be working on is our multifarious card that I've cut down to a 5 by 5 square. We will be using a white Signo Uniball gel pen, a water brush, Sweet Poppy stencil tape, various blending brushes, and I have these here that I've gotten. I bought them on Amazon, but I like them because they're color coded and I use these for my Oxide inks. So we'll be using several of those. We'll have a piece of torn paper for the snow effect, stamping blocks or platform, the inks that we're going to be using. We're going to have Distress Oxide in Kitsch Flamingo, Distress Oxide in Wilted Violet, Distress Oxide Salvaged Patina, Distress Oxide in Mowed Lawn, Oxide and Chipped Sapphire, and Distress Oxide Tumbled Glass. Those are for the background. We'll also be using Elements ink. Graphite is the color. For our stamping, we're going to be using VersaFine Clair and Nocturne. Get started. So those to the side. Have our multifarious paper cut down to a 5 by 5 square. I'm going to take a piece of Sweet Poppy stencil tape and I'm going to mask off the bottom. So I just cut off a piece. And line it up. This piece, I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to tear it as close as I can in half. This is for the tree line background for the snow effect, without having that straight line. This will work nicely. Okay. And I'm not worried too much about that little spot there. I'll just make sure that I'm careful. So if you can see, this is going to give that nice rigid line right there for the snow. I'm not worried about this being taped down because I'm going to need to move it around. Okay, and for the background, we're going to start with the lightest color first, which is Kitsch Flamingo. Now, just ink this up slightly, dab off just a tiny bit. You're going to start from where you want, about a third of the way over. Start from the bottom and drag up. Doesn't take too much. So we're moving on to our Wilted Violet. Ink that up. Take a little off. And so now with the purple, we're going to kind of blend it into the pink slightly. And start at the bottom and drag up. And kind of do it in a swooping motion. I'm going to do purple in a few places. Not too much, just a little. I try to get a few lines that are darker. Now we're moving on to Salvaged Patina. And we're just going to kind of blend that up in a few places. And maybe over here we're going to do it a different way. Go around. We're going to blend it a little bit between the colors slightly. Okay, and now we're going to move on to Mowed Lawn. This is the green that I found that works the best for, you see a lot of green in the Northern Lights. This is my favorite one. I've seen a lot of other people use Twisted Citron. In my opinion, it's too yellow. It does work though. So this background's probably going to be quite a bit more colorful than the others. But you can never get two the same. It doesn't work. That's probably pretty good. And now we're going to fill it in with the chipped Sapphire. Just Oxide. Move that up pretty good. And I'm just going to start right here in the corner. And blend around. near here, I'm doing it very light. No, hardly no pressure. Looks pretty good. Set that off. Clean up this mess. Okay. Excuse me. I think actually now, so now I have this water brush. It's got water in it. I'll get it activated. Some water. I don't need a lot, but just a little dampness. Now we're just going to lightly streak it where we want these colors. Now if you're good and you can make all the nice swirls, it looks great, but I'm not real good at that yet. This is just a really light kind of swooping motion. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take this tape off. Oh, looks nice. Okay, now for the stamping. Got my stamping platform here. That there. I have my reindeer. I'm going to put him in the bottom. It's sort of the brightest part. Let me give this a quick dry. I want to make sure it's really dry. Okay. Now we're going to stamp up Inverse Fine Clair Nocturne. So there, I've just inked it up really well. Back down into their platform and pressed it. Let that sit for a second, just soak in. That's good. I don't use a platform for my trees. You probably can, but I don't. So I have a Lavinia acrylic block here for the trees. I'm going to take my fir tree. And this is, yeah, fir tree LAB 022. I'm going to stamp, ink it up in Nocturne as well. Just going to stamp that down about there. So I'm going to do a second generation. So take that first impression off. Put it about there. Okay. And now we're going to use the Fairy Fir Tree 2 Small. Missed the top. And we're going to do a second generation with the little ink that's left on there and kind of line it up between those. That looks pretty good. Let's go out with the stamping. We're going to take our piece of paper here and we're just going to give it a tear. And we'll use this for the snow and give it some grounding. Just under his feet so you can see all 4 of the reindeer's feet. For the snow, I'm going to use just our Oxide Tumbled glass on my blue blending brush. I start on the paper and just very lightly drag it down. Just ever so lightly. Well, we're going to just take it, turn it just a little bit. And just make a few random heels. We're going to get clear up to the tree line. We'll do the same thing. Now, I'm going to take our white signal pin here and add some highlights. And we're just going to go around his face and do some of these hairs, some highlights. Now I can just kind of go over the base of the snow. I can do some white highlights for some snow on the trees. Just kind of random. Okay, now I'm going to take my graphite. I'm just going to darken up the edges a little bit. I'm going to start here, the corners. edges. I'm just barely going to do it because I just want that little black line. And I think that's pretty good. So now we're going to take our base card, figure out which way we want, and so I'm going to use glue today because I'm out of my little tape runners that I like to use. Glue works, it just doesn't dry as fast. Okay, there you have it. Now if you want, you could add some glitter to the sky or some stars. You could do glitter down here on the bottom. I don't like this line right here, and I've learned if you just take your rag, just kind of buff that out. Didn't really work on camera, but I can see it. So there you have it. The Northern Lights, Christmas lights in the sky. Background for Christmas. Hope you enjoyed this. Now, I'm not a professional by any means, so if there's another way to do this and you find that easier, by all means, just how I do it. So, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.